Hello guys, and welcome back to the Stacey West YouTube channel. I am Ben, and I am joined by Danny from It's All Cobblers to Me, because of course the Imps head away to Northampton Town for a 2 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Danny, mate, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all good. If we take the football out of it, I think everything's pretty good at the minute. Look, obviously we Lincoln fans are all very much aware that we're on a bit of a sticky run at the minute. Hopefully, we're kind of keeping it all crossed that we can potentially pull something out of the bag on Saturday. But let's jump straight into it. Obviously, we played Northampton a little bit earlier on in the season. Came away 2-1 winners. I think it was a game that it's probably fair to say that the Imps were on top of for the majority of it. But since then, obviously a couple of big changes. One major change for you guys with a new manager coming in. So I think first things first. How's Kevin Nolan impacted things at Northampton? And does it seem like you might be turning a corner after what was a pretty dismal run?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we were exchanging messages, weren't we, around the time when Kevin Nolan was appointed, because we had one rumor of Mark Kennedy coming in. You just text me saying, this is going to be a disaster. And thankfully, it turned out to be a really baseless, someone had just made it up, basically, someone, a really prominent kind of ITK on our message board, and put it in as a joke, basically saying it was going to be announced at 5 o'clock. And there was mass panic for a good few hours. So we're calling that Mark Kennedy Friday, which we'll celebrate now every year, I would imagine. But no, Kevin Nolan's he's come in. I mean, I didn't really know what to expect, to be fair, because he's not managed for a good number of years in like a top job since Notts County, Leyton Orient. Done some coaching with West Ham and all that kind of stuff, but you never really know what to expect when someone's not done it for that long. But it's been a breath of fresh air, to be honest. It's been so positive with his interviews. You can tell it's rubbing off on his players. It's a big job. It's going to be a slow and steady one, I think, especially with injuries that we've got and things like that have been going on all season. But just the sense of positivity that he's brought to the place has really lifted everyone, I think. He's had a few games to kind of get under his belt, but so far you can see he's just trying to get the best of what he's got, basically, and you can see the players have responded to him. So yeah, really, really happy with him so far. Is a little bit different to what I thought he might be. Actually, is very kind of energetic and is very kind of really got that positive mindset about him. So yeah, really, really happy with it so far.
Excellent stuff. I mean, I'm assuming that there's not been, maybe not widespread changes. Obviously, he needs a window or two to get his feet fully under the table. Looking back at the past few games since he's been in charge, it looks like he might have tweaked the system a little bit, playing different ways, trying to get different people involved. How have you seen the turnaround so far, and what's changed since the game down at Bank?
There's changes style. We've gone to a 3-5-2 essentially in our formation. It's more to do with the intent of the players and things like that, though. I think there's a little bit more kind of intent in their defending, if that makes sense. They're a lot more kind of trying to get that first ball all the time, a lot more kind of focus on it for 90 minutes. They are getting tired a bit from the last few games. Obviously, it was a really difficult period to come into the club. He came in just before Christmas, a couple of days before Christmas. So you've suddenly got a Boxing Day game and then 3 other games within the space of 7 or 10 days. So it's a bit of a whirlwind for him, but it's plucked out the results. And I think that the difference will be the energy and the intent from all the players, and they're just trying to push on a little bit more, trying to press a little bit more, trying to get people up and around Tom Eaves at the top and things like that. So you say it's a work in progress, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like you say, if anybody comes in around Christmas, regardless of the job, you're not going to get the best out of it until, we're starting to probably see it now. I mean, obviously, like I say, you guys have had a bit of a, I think it's fair to say, a poor run up till Christmas. And then it looks like things might be starting to turn around a little bit now. I mean, particularly last 3 games unbeaten. You finally got your first win in a while at the weekend against, admittedly, bottom of the table Burton, who we probably don't think they'll be a League One side next season. But has anything? I mean, obviously, one big name that's come in from that certainly pricks up a few Lincoln City ears has been TJ Eyoma. He came in, I think it was probably a couple of weeks after the game at home for us. Admittedly, a player that I was genuinely gutted to see leave the club at the end of last season. And I think there's quite a few of us maybe surprised that he didn't have another club for quite a while. So there was a sense of not necessarily pride, but definitely a sense of, a little bit of sense of relief that TJ had found a new club because he is a top bloke. How's he settled into the side, and is he sort of, getting to be one of the first names on the team sheet, or how's he settled into life in Northampton?
Yeah, I mean, we've had an injury crisis again, just like last season. So there's been a lot of that kind of thing. We bought TJ and Nesta Guinness-Walker in, both on free transfers around that time, and both then went on to become two of our better players. It's just out of nowhere, and you just think how many players must be out there you just don't think of, and that can come in and do a really good job on a free transfer. It's mad the kind of quality that they've brought to the squad. Like Guinness Walker's our best left back now. He's injured. He's the fourth left back to get injured. But TJ's been brilliant. I just love him. The strength, power, marauds forward, gets up for a corner, things like and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, he's popular already. Forming part of a back three at the moment and can play. Has been playing left back or the left-sided of it as well. We're just filling gaps at the moment, but he's kind of put his hand to all his positions, and yeah, really enjoying watching him play. He's a good player. Really enjoyed him.
Excellent stuff. I mean, yeah, but aside from Saturday, we hope he has an absolutely fantastic rest of the season for you guys, because he was just a stalwart for us, and
yeah, it's quality.
I think he feels like he's a bit of a confidence player, and it sounds like he's definitely getting that for you guys right now. So
yeah, I mean, he came in and he was like that straight away. It's he came and hit the ground running basically, which he needed to do with the injury situation, and yeah, it's gone from strength to strength. I think we're starting to see the very, very best of him now, which is great. And hopefully is one that can just stay fit and stick with it for the end of the season.
Good stuff. So since last time we spoke, has anything, or do you think anything's changed in terms of the, not necessarily the mindset, but the goals, the aims for the season? Obviously, right now it's looking. I mean, it's looking like 2 or 3 in the bottom 4 at the minute. Look like they might be getting a bit more cemented after the Christmas period. Are you starting to feel that, what was it at the moment, 6 points clear of the drop zone? Do you feel like you're starting to pull away, particularly with this new mindset brought in by Kevin Nolan, or is it one of those where you're thinking you're still looking over your shoulder a little bit?
Yeah, I think the overall aim is always going to be to stay up for us this season. 14th last season, but the strength coming into the division is so high this season from both ends, from the Championship and from League Two. So the aim was always to stay up, but I think it's the mindset now of Kevin Nolan is very different to the one of John Brady. I mean, Brady was brilliant for us. Obviously spent a lot of good years for us, ended up as one of the longest serving managers in the EFL. Local links, did a great job. I think he just put too much into it himself that he needed a break. But his mindset compared to Kevin Nolan's is so different in terms of the injury situation. Nolan's come in and is kind of talking about, making the most of what we've got, not kind of being too down about the injuries, and kind of just getting on with it and plugging the gaps as and when he can, and being a little bit more positive about it. But yeah, definitely it's just a case of staying up. It's going to be one of those that goes right to the end, I think, because we have got a couple of good results recently, but our run coming up is pretty bad. You've got yourselves, then we've got Wickham and Bolton away. You say what you want about Bolton at the minute, they're still a quality team, aren't they? You've got Huddersfield at home, Mansfield away, Wrexham at home in the next sort of month or so. So packed schedule full of games that are really against tough teams. So we're nowhere near out the woods yet, but hopefully we've got a basis now to build on with those few performances over Christmas.
Great stuff. So yeah, I mean, obviously, we are in the January window. From what I could see, I don't think you guys have brought anybody in just yet.
We've got Liam Shaw in, who signed start of the month.
Oh, okay.
midfielder. But yeah, that's the only one so far.
Okay, fair enough. Are there any other sort of pressing areas for concern, or is it? I mean, obviously you mentioned you left back, and with 4 of them being injured so far this season, it sounds like
well,
it might be a poison chalice.
We almost don't want to play anyone there because it's just mad. I mean, apparently there are starting to become players back. Not this weekend, you'll be happy to know, but there's going to be. I think we've got about sort of 15, 16 players out at the moment. It's been horrendous. None of them back this weekend, I don't think. But yeah, definitely. I mean, we've maxed out our squad size before Christmas, so we couldn't. We got to the maximum amount we could get registered. But apparently, we can get around that by deregistering some people and sending players back on loan and stuff that aren't playing. So there's space. Still think we need another striker because Tom Eaves, bless him, is sort of ploughing a lonely furrow up top. He's just getting knackered every game because he's been asked to do a lot, and he does a lot of running and puts himself about a lot, as you can imagine he does. So yeah, well, another sort of striker in a different mould maybe to him would be good. Potentially another midfielder to come in. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, we're hoping that Kevin Nolan's got quite a few contacts in the game that he can call upon. So yeah, watch this space. We'll see what happens. See if Andy Carroll rocks up or anything like that in the next couple of weeks. We don't know. It could be a fun deadline day, basically, I think.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get someone down there, see if there's any Land Rovers that people hang out the front window of. No, okay, right. So looking ahead to the game, is it still a bit of an unknown in terms of what you're going to get? So I think, is it 4 games that Nolan's had so far? Are you still going into it wondering, is this definitely the way we're going to be playing, or is it one of those where you're thinking, okay, he's getting his feet under the table now, we understand what he's trying to do, and it's just a case of we'll try and beat what's in front of us? Or is it still? Do you think there's still maybe a little bit of tinkering that he needs to do, and he's not quite sure on, or not quite settled rather on what it is he's trying to get out?
Yeah. No, you can definitely see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get it up as quickly as he can to Tom Eaves at the top, get players around him a little bit more, like I said, and trying to attack that way. It's it's not particularly pretty, but in our position, I don't think you can afford to be sort of wanting to be pretty. I think it's all about energy. It's all about hard work. You sort of think about what he was like as a player. You can kind of imagine what kind of game it is. He'll want to make it hard for the opposition. He'll want to, focus on his own game, but still kind of meet the opposition where we are, not kind of show them too much respect, I don't think, and really just work hard around it and scrap for points. And that's what we need at the moment. It's probably the perfect kind of fit for us at the moment, for what we need to fight relegation. And so it's potentially not going to be the most enjoyable game of football, I'd say, on Saturday, but and I think both teams obviously going to be really scrapping for the points. So yeah, could be an odd goal kind of situation.
Yeah, I mean, we've just recorded our weekly podcast, and we sort of said to Chris in there, I'm not expecting a classic by any stretch of the imagination, and it is going to be, it's going to be one of those that will probably be settled by a goal going in off someone's backside. But at the moment, our goal of the month competition is looking like a penalty. So I'm not. We spoke off air briefly. I said at the minute I kind of can't see where the next win's coming from, but I've said that for the past couple of weeks. I'd like to think we could potentially start to turn it around. So, just to wrap up, let's have a prediction for you for the weekend. It sounds like, unbeaten in 3. Last game was a win. It sounds like confidence is starting to come back a little bit.
Yeah, I think so. Confidence in the players starting to come back a bit as well. As I say, I don't think much will change before the weekend. I think I'll go 1-1 for this one, and I think that'd be a reasonable result for us. Like I say, really, really tough month coming up. So start off with a win would be great, but I think potentially it might be a case of both teams not really wanting to really go for it for the fear of losing. But I'll go 1-1, sit on the fence.
Okay, It's out of hope more than expectation, but I'm thinking, we've got to turn it around at some point, and we had a decent second half against Birmingham in the FA Cup, even though we lost the game. I mean, it was an absolute worldie that won it for them, let's be fair. And then Tuesday night was a calamitous mistake that cost us the game, and that seems to be the way at the moment. If we make a mistake and you guys can capitalise on it, that's probably where the game will be won. So, yeah, despite the impending sense of dread, I'm gonna I'm gonna say I think we might be able to house our way to a 1-0 win. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully I'm right. We don't know. But look, Danny, again, really appreciate you joining us, mate. It's
pleasure.
It's been great as always. If you want to just give yourself a little plug, let people know where they can find you, and we'll wrap up there.
Yeah, it's at Cobblers to me on all the social media. Release episodes on Monday and Friday, which you'll be a part of very shortly, I believe.
Indeed. So there we go. Right. Thank you very much, mate. And we'll see you soon.
Awesome. Cheers. All the best for the season as well.
Thank you, mate.
Lincoln City are the team, the readiest is their name. Since the bank is their home ground and football is their game. So come and cheer them on, you lads, support them all the way. Oh, 'tis our delight for the red and white, the Imps are here to stay. Oh,